Good day, my wonderful students. How are you today? You are welcome to another government class. Settle down and bring out your writing materials. Today, the topic we are considering is titled Centralization and Decentralization Part 2. Centralization and Decentralization Part 2. Before we proceed, let's look at the learning objectives. By the end of the lesson, you should be able to define centralization and decentralization. You should be able to identify reasons for the adoption of centralization. You should be able to mention forms of decentralization. And lastly, you should be able to give merits and demerits of centralization and decentralization. Let us look at the correction of last assignment. Correction of last assignment. Question 1. State 3 reasons for the adoption of centralization. State 3 reasons for the adoption of centralization. Answer. The first reason. This system is best practiced in a homogeneous state. This system is also practiced in a small country. Under this system, there is no division of power between the central government and other component units. Question 2. Give 3 merits and 2 demerits of centralization. Let us consider the merits first. The 3 merits of centralization. 1. Cost of running this system is very, very low. 2. The decision making and implementation is quick. 3. It unites different groups of diverse opinions and interests in the society. The demerits now. The 2 demerits of centralization. Answer. It is only workable in small territories. It may not work in countries like Nigeria and the United States of America. 2. Centralization may encourage dictatorship in the system. Now, during the last class, we discussed about centralization, the meaning, reasons for the adoption of the system. We talk about demerits, but today we want to look at the second part of the topic and the second system, which is decentralization. So we are going to look at the meaning of decentralization now. What is decentralization? Decentralization deals with the sharing of power between the central government and other constituent units within a political system. These constituent units could be the state, the local government, or as the case may be. This system allows the sharing of power between the central government, which you can also call the federal government, and other constituent units like the state and the local government within a political system. Let's look at this diagram. Diagram illustrating the power of decentralization. So, it's titled Empowerment and Decentralization. Decentralization involves the participation of people in making the decisions that matters to them, in taking decisions that matters to them. Now look at this. Look at the arrow, where the arrow is pointing to. The arrow pointing to the left side is centralized form, while the one pointing to the right side is the decentralized system or form of a system. So here we can see in this column types of decision-making system and examples. When you look at this one, in front of that types of decision-making system, you will see centralized hierarchies. Examples of such is a traditional military organizations. Traditional military organizations. So when you look at the one again, loose hierarchies, consulting firms, research, universities. When you look at the another one, democracies, political democracies, corporate shareholder meetings. And you look at the market here, the market, free market, the internet, firm internal markets. So under the centralized form of government, we can talk about different form of democracies where people are allowed to be involved in the decision-making process or processes. And then when you look at the centralized form, the hierarchy there is traditional and military organizations. So they are not decentralized formed. Let us go further. What are the forms of decentralization? Forms of decentralization. Look at this diagram of forms of decentralization. Diagram of forms of decentralization. See the decentralization here. See here, transfer decision-making powers and resources closer, both to the target populations or public policy and to all protagonists in civil society in the context of the redefinition of the role of the state. That is what decentralization is all about. Transfer of decision-making powers from the central to other units by getting them closer to get themselves involved in the same decision-making process. Both the target populations of public policy and to all protagonists in civil society. So, under this, we have the concentration. In summary, the concentration is a form of decentralization. It means transferring some administrative responsibilities from the federal government to other units. And also we have what we call delegation. Delegation simply means assigning some tasks to the lower level. In this system, federal government cannot just hold on to everything. They need to release some for other units to take care of. So delegation means assigning some tasks to the lower level. And the other one is a devolution. Another form of decentralization. It means creating independent levels or units. So creating levels or units that are independent in that system. I hope that is understood. Now, let's go to the form proper. The first one here is a devolution. What is devolution? In this type of system, the central government may decide to set up or create constituent or subordinate levels, that is, levels lower to that central government in the levels of government in different parts of the country with powers to make decisions in specified areas as related to the locality. Not every area, but in specified areas. They will give power, federal government will give power to such unit to operate in that regard. That is what is a devolution. Second one is the concentration. In this system, the central government sets policies for the local areas, appoints some officials with some powers and authority, and delegates them to carry out specific functions, thereby regulating government policies at the local government level. Just like trying to help the federal government to implement the policies made by the federal government. The subordinate unit under this system, under this form of the decentralization, will help the federal government to carry out specific functions by regulating some of the policies from the top at the local government level. Another one is a political decentralization. This one is not, in your scheme, but I just try, to bring in this just for you to have a more understanding of what we are talking about. So when we talk of a political decentralization, this one aims to give citizens or their elected representatives more power in public decision making. This will teach and we open the understanding of the citizens or their elected representatives. We give them more power in public decision making. 4. Administrative decentralization. This one seeks to redistribute authority, responsibility, and financial resources for providing public services among different levels of government. 5. Delegation. Through delegation, central government transfer responsibility for decision making and administration of public functions to semi-autonomous organizations not only controlled by the central government but ultimately accountable to it. So the federal government is not only, only controlling that setup or that organization, but that organization ultimately is accountable to the central government. Privatization. This is another form of decentralization. This one can range in scope from leaving the provision of goods and services entirely to the free operation of the market to public-private partnerships, in which government and the private sector cooperate to provide service or infrastructure. That one, the same thing with NEPA now. NEPA is being privatized to become Ikeja electrical distribution company. Ikeja distribution company. IKEDC. So that's the best example of what we are talking about here. So private body and the government, in cooperation, agree to provide services to the people of the country. The regulation reduces the legal constraints on private participation in service provision or allows competition among private suppliers for services that in the past had been provided by the government or by regulated monopoly. This one will remove that legal constraint on the private participation in providing services to the people. So this has been done by the government in the past, but through the regulation, they will allow private people to come into the sector to do what? To contribute their own quota in giving good services to the people. And economic or market decentralization. The most complete forms of decentralization from a government's perspective are privatization and deregulation, because they shift responsibility for functions from the public to the private sector entirely. So private sector will dominate and control the market, while government will just be regulating it. Now, what are the merits of decentralization? What are the merits of decentralization? 1. Quick development is achieved in a decentralized system, because in this system there is opportunity for development. So there is tendency for units under the system to develop even faster than others, because it should be like a competition. So there is tendency for one unit to develop faster than others. 2. Competition among units in terms of a development. In a federal state, there are competition among federal units, resulting in some states developing much better than others, like Lagos State now. Cannot compare Lagos to other states in Nigeria. Even in terms of their IGR of Lagos State is more than any other state in the country. IGR means internally generated revenue. Internally generated revenue. Let's continue. It brings government nearer to the people. So government is brought nearer to the people at the grassroots. Another one, there is absence of dictatorship, because the supremacy of the Constitution and the application of the rule of law removes the tendency for a dictatorial government. Fear of domination. The fear of the minority are removed from the domination by the majority, because the minority group will not think that they are being marginalized. Everybody will be carried along in the system, and also it reduces the workload of central government, thereby increasing its efficiency. Instead of the central government to just be pushing everything within itself, by giving out some functions to other units, it will lessen and reduce the workload of central government, thereby the efficiency of the central government is now increasing. Another one is it increases efficiency of government. What are the demerits of this system? Decentralization. The demerits: costly to operate. This system is costly to operate because many functions are created within the same system. Duplication of functions. So that's why it's costly to operate. And also, there is delay in taking quick decision, because the need for a wider consultation in this decision-making process, equality, makes for a delay in taking decision. They need to consult, they'll start consulting from one level, from one hierarchy to another, before they will eventually take decision. Weak center. The center is weak because the autonomy of the various units. At times, Lagos State may design its own policy, may not like to follow the pattern of the federal government. So therefore, this can call for the weak center. Another one is a duplication of positions in government. That is, functions in government are duplicated, requiring too many hands in the process. Sectionalism. It can bring sectionalism since the country is composed of different units, interest groups, beliefs, etc. There can also be differences in the level of development. It does not make for even development, since some units develop faster and better than others. So look at this table showing differences between centralization and decentralization. You have to study this table very well. So this is a centralized system, this is decentralized system. So in the area of communication pattern, you can see in the area of coordination and geographical dispersion. So under the centralized form of government, you will see vertical coordination, but decentralized form, lateral coordination. And under communication pattern, you will see that communication patterns follow the hierarchy. Direct interactions and communications are not practiced. But under the centralized system, there is informal communication lines, flexible, constantly changing communication lines, fluid project oriented teams. Now, before we go to the reference material, recap of what we have done so far. I said decentralization is a system whereby powers are shared among the central government and the constituent units, which we can liken to state and local government. And then I told you, under this system, there could be delay in taking decision, because they need to consider, there must be, or there is a need for wider consultation. It's costly to operate. So, and under the system, you will see duplication of what? Of functions. Yes, let me ask a few questions before we call it a day. Hello? Yes, can anybody tell us the country that practices this kind of system? Yes, Nigeria and the United States of America. Clap for him. Clap for him. Okay, another question. If you compare centralization system of government and the decentralization system of government, which one is more costly? Which one is easy and simple to operate? Yes, you. Centralization is simple to operate, not costly, but the decentralization is what? The centralized system of government is more costly than centralization system of government. Clap for her. Clap for her. So, who can tell us the forms? At least 2 or 3 forms of decentralization. Yes, you. Give us one. Delegation. Clap for him. You. Deconcentration. Yes. Clap for her. Yes, another person. Devolution. Yes. Political decentralization. Clap for her too. Yes, you are really following. Thank you for that. Now, for further reading, consult these reference materials. Essential Government for Senior Secondary Schools by Chris Dibby and New Approach Government for Senior Secondary School by Oyediono. Let's quickly go to the assignment. Make sure you do this assignment. Assignment. First question. Distinguish between centralization and decentralization. Distinguish between centralization and decentralization. 2. Explain any 2 forms of decentralization. Explain any 2 forms of decentralization. Lastly, give 3 merits and 2 demerits of decentralization. Give 3 merits and 2 demerits of a decentralization. This is where we are going to call it a day. Thank you for listening. God bless you. Bye-bye.